Hello, everybody. This is Joe Toe here with JTN. Just wanted to say again, thanks for watching, tuning in here, and we really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy this interview as much as I enjoyed doing it. I sat down and I talked with Steve, aka Armenian, aka Savag, aka a lot of names that this man goes by. But one thing he's always gone by for me as a friend and best friend. We're going to talk today about his development of AutoSim. You've heard about it a lot here on JTN. Heck, we got some videos up on our YouTube page of me playing it, and you'll see that throughout this video as well. AutoSim is a text-based racing game, so there's a lot of customization involved in it, and we're going to talk with Steve today about the development of AutoSim, kind of his challenges going through and building it, talking about the community that he has built for the game, as well as just a variety of things, coding and whatnot. So, again, it was a really fun interview. I really enjoyed it. I'm very excited for you guys to get a chance to listen to this. It's going to be a really good time, and I hope you enjoy this video. If you do, make sure you hit like, subscribe to us here at the JoeTowNetwork. We appreciate that, as always, with all our live broadcasts. If you guys tune into those, watch the replays, we appreciate you doing that. But without further ado, let's dive right into this interview. We are with founder, creator, owner, guru, Steve, aka Armenian.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Creator of everyone's favorite simulated text-based racing game. You've heard about it, AutoSim. Welcome to JTN, Steve.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm just very happy that you finally we got you on. Really excited.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this.
I mean, I'm really excited because you have built an amazing game and an amazing community around that game over the course of the last year. You know, we had all the craziness that was last year. I'm not even going to say the number, but before we get into that, why don't you tell everyone at home about yourself?
Hey guys, I'm Steve. I am currently a junior in college studying computer science, and this game was kind of made as a response to boredom with the you-know-what that was going on earlier this year. You know, sitting at home, couldn't leave my house for a few months, and I figured what better way to apply my programming skills I've been learning than in a racing simulator. You know, there's a lot of racing games out there, but there's no like management games, and I'm a huge fan of like management or owner games where you kind of, you know, simulate sports. And I know there's one for baseball, there's one for wrestling, but there's not any for auto racing. So this was kind of, you know, my way to kind of make my own video game. And then, you know, one thing led to another. It started getting shared on Reddit and Discord. And now we have a community over 300 strong playing AutoSim. And I'm super happy and super thankful that this game has received such positive attention. It's gotten way, way bigger than I ever anticipated. You know, I never really thought this game would even be public. I kind of just made it for myself and my friends to goof around in the world of auto racing. And now it's, you know, become a fully fledged video game. So I want to give a big shout out to everyone in Discord, everyone on Reddit for sharing this, everyone on YouTube for doing Let's Plays, and for you, Joe, for interviewing me.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's just a pleasure to have you here. I mean, for everyone at home, we've known each other for a very, very long time.
Yeah, Joe and I go way back.
You've made something out of nothing. You know, everyone can talk about, you know, how bad a year was, and but you really took the time this last year to work on yourself. Because I remember when you started making this and talking about it, your big thing was, oh, I want to have that game. I want to have something on my resume that I can say and I can point to and say, hey, this is an example of every single skill set that I need going forward.
Yeah, and to be able to apply that to something I'm passionate about, which is auto racing and NASCAR, I think that's really, you know, exactly what the coding mindset is being able to solve these problems and being able to challenge yourself to try new things. And coding is a skill I've become very passionate about over the last year or two. So to be able to combine two things I really enjoy, and then have people enjoy that product is definitely a dream come true.
So then I guess because I kind of got questions on it. I like to be pretty prepared with these when we do these little episodes and stuff here on JTN. Because you know me,
Yes, very thorough.
What I guess what you're trying to say is what made you want to create this game is you saw a need, you saw something that you would like, that you wanted,
yes.
and you just said, okay, I'm gonna go do it. I'm gonna go make it.
Exactly. I mean, I started this around. So I really started this, like I'd say like 2 or 3 years ago. I kind of had this idea of, and this was when I was first learning to code. I had this idea of making like an arcade style game where AI could race and you could see the results of that. So I developed like a very prototype, and I never really got too far with it. I kind of gave up after a week. And then after 2 or 3 years have passed by, I've gotten way better at coding. I understand what classes are and object-oriented programming. I revisited the idea while just kind of scrolling through my old projects during the lockdown. And I said, hey, I should probably flesh this out a little bit more now that I actually know what I'm doing. And then that ended up becoming the first, iteration of the AutoSim, which back in March, back in April, it was just fully text. There was no images at all. It was a very small little box, very glitchy, no silly season logic. The race AI was basically hard coded completely, and to see how far that has come since then is nothing short of impressive. I don't think people realize how much effort and dedication it takes to code. I've probably worked thousands of hours on this game for the last 10 months. So it's just nice to see that it's paid off way more than I've expected.
Well, and let's talk about that because that kind of segues into what I wanted to talk about next with you. But AutoSim, just from a technical standpoint, feel free to go in depth as much as you want. But when before the latest release, I talked to you showed me and we did a cool run through and everything. And I felt really special because I got to see it before anyone else. But
yes,
talk about because it started and you've kind of kept a lot of things the same, but in saying that, I mean you completely with the newest release of Omega.
Yes,
you've reworked just before this, and I'm taking your numbers, so sources to you, Steve. Like 75% of this game you just had to completely redo.
Yes, I rewrote almost 3/4 to maybe 80% of the game. And this is because the way I originally wrote the game, I was not intending to have customization. Because, I wasn't expecting people to really play this game. There was no way for modability, I guess is the word, or people to, customize the game, make mods, make their own rosters. There was really no way to implement that. So as I kind of implemented that, as the fan base got bigger, it would cause more and more bugs. I have to rewrite more and more. And just the way I optimized things, it was there's a programming industry term called cowboy code, which is when you just kind of write code as you go along and you don't really plan things out. It was very, very poorly written code, and I just felt like the best way to optimize the game, to make it run faster, and to have more user control was to just rewrite the game. The old way to make rosters is that you imported text files, and you still do with Omega, but now you can use a Google Sheet, which makes it so much easier for mod makers to be able to make their own rosters, make their own drivers. Because of the Google Sheets compatibility, which that took a long time to code. That took probably 2-3 weeks to be able just to have that access to work with no bugs or anything. That I feel like really has made the game much more enjoyable, much more personal to whoever plays it.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point. You had to pivot kind of over the summer here once this community really started ramping up. You pivoted from, hey, we're going to just have a game and it's going to be 2020 and 2005, which is the year you're most fond of in racing history.
Yes, my first year watching NASCAR was 2005. So that's why in the original game you had the 2005 and 2020 NASCAR rosters. And in programming, we have a term called, hard coding, which is I had to manually insert all the values for each driver. I mean, you see like Casey Kane or Tony Stewart or Jeff Gordon, all those drivers. And this is back when I still had, real world rosters in the game before I took that out. All those guys were hard coded, meaning in the actual Python code, each driver's values were typed in as variables, which that is a big no-no, which I've kind of learned through my classes and stuff. That's a big no-no because it limits customization. You can't really make your own roster since there's already stuff in the game. So what I've done now is essentially there are no drivers hard coded into the game. Everything is just imported from the text files that are in turn imported from Google Sheets, and that took a long time to be able to do that. But I mean, the results of that now is that you can make your own roster whenever you want and just put it in the game and it will work. Back then, you couldn't do that. You were stuck with the two rosters. Now it's way more efficient, I guess is the word.
Well, it's more expansive too because you've had a community that has shown so much support too.
Yes.
I mean, there's mods out there that take you all the way back to the 40s, right? All the way up through today. There's mods for different racing series. Originally this was all, it's NASCAR.
Just those Cup Series. Yeah, I've seen a lot of F1 interest and IndyCar interest, which I don't really follow F1 or IndyCar, and I would not be able to make a mod for that. I've never really watched or had interest in that. So, I mean, if you're interested in F1 or IndyCar, you can mod the game to add F1 or IndyCar drivers. That's the extent of the customability that you can use with AutoSim.
That's a very important distinction too, right? Because it's not NASCAR sim, it's not IndyCar F1 sim, it's AutoSim. So it's
AutoSim. It's for any auto racing league.
Exactly. You also
there are cars or even trucks or modified, so you can do it.
you gotta picture the cars in your head. But you get some beautiful results. You get ultimate memeage too.
Yes, the chaos is one of my favorite parts, and I think it's the reason why this game kind of blew up. Because originally there were people taking screenshots on Reddit, be like, "Oh my goodness, Todd Cleaver just won a championship," or "Oh my goodness, Aaron Crocker just won, the Daytona 500." I mean, you can have those moments. I mean, there's infinite possibilities. One of the biggest examples I like to point to is Kamikaze Games' playthrough of this series. I would like to give him a lot of credit for helping, share the word on AutoSim. And he's one of the bigger reasons why this game blew up in popularity over the summer, going from around, 20 active players to at one point we had, probably 500, 600 active players at the same time, and we still have a good community of 300 or 400. I would say it's a little bit past its peak in the summer. It was really popular, but now we still got a good fan base. And I'd like to thank Kamikaze Games and really anybody who's made YouTube videos to promote and share the game for that success.
For sure. And it just goes back to you've built such a great product for people, and you've done it too. And this is an important distinction to make for everyone at home right now listening. This game is free. I mean, this is something, it's free. It's not I don't think you would say that it's it's the end all be all. It's the final product, because there's still work that you're doing.
Still tweak. I would say the game is probably 80 to 90% done. After Omega, I'm just going to be fixing bugs and making slight tweaks. There are going to be no big features or overhauls anymore. This is going to be pretty close to the final product.
And with that being said, I mean,
free,
exactly. If this is something, if you're bored one night, hey, go download AutoSim. It takes like 20 seconds to download. It's a really easy thing to kind of figure out, and there's a beautiful Discord community. And again, autosim.weebly.com, and you can
and the merch. Buy a T-shirt that Joe helped create.
Buy a T-shirt. But
you'll find a sticker. It's like $5.
Exactly. It's a great way to help support Steve and help him get all.
Or Patreon,
and all those links too will be found in the description as well as on the AutoSim site. You just bookmark.
I want to give a big shout out to my Patreons, and this game is free because I believe if you wanna have access to a game, this is a beta, and I think I love the user input. I love how anybody can just pick up this game and play. There's no barrier. But if you do want to support the game, if you do want to support me and keep the progress going, the Patreon, I mean, it's crazy to see people pay money and they can get benefits. They can have a driver named after them. They can have their name in the credits of the game. And it's really, uplifting for me and really motivating for me to see people, do care and people do want to support me. I've had some people, Alex Gray, Kamikaze Games, Jonathan Carton, Mia. I mean, there's just a few of them, but these people have been paying for months now, and they don't have to. But the fact that they do, it just really really encourages me and motivates me to keep working on the game, because I know that people out there care and they want to see this game grow and become something great, which I believe it has.
Well, and just again a little sideshow into Steve, but y'all that have done the Patreon and have been so instrumental in the Discord, even of just providing that thoughtful feedback, right? Because there's times where the feedback is, "Oh, I hate the game," or I don't like this aspect, or but there are people that have provided some really good feedback that has gotten this game, and just y'all have been the driving force behind him continuing to work on this. Because I know, this last semester, I know for me, and I'm assuming for you, it was not the best semester ever of college, but I know that
this semester actually was pretty good for me, but just the year in general,
my mood.
it's definitely, yes. This year in general has not been easy for a lot of people. So the fact that you've taken the time out of your day to support the game and to give it a shot, and for some people even to donate, it really means a lot that we have this kind of community. Not many people can say that they've developed a game that has, a 300-person Discord or had 500 active players at one point. The website over the summer, and the website, you can check the traffic. Over the summer, we'd have times where it'd be like, 6,000 to 7,000 people a week were on the website. And now it's still 2,000 people or so are actively viewing the website, especially when the updates come out. It spikes to around 4,000.
Yeah, that's good too, because it's just it shows that it I know it's like you feel supported, but it just shows that people really care, and they really really are putting a lot into helping you with this game and continue to do a great job of showing that support. You've managed to build this community. So, and you've already touched on it, but having the support, that's just been a really great thing for you. I think it's kind of that validation, right? That you've made a product that people like, and when you came up with the idea in the first place, it was, oh, I like this. This is what I would want to do. But seeing other people supporting that's got to be a big deal, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that NASCAR and auto racing is a very niche community in general. Like, there's not. You can't really just go up to a random person and explain AutoSim. It's just a more of if you know type of deal. I definitely feel that my fan base, and AutoSim's fan base and player base is very like diehard and very, very passionate. And that's a trait that, people take for granted. A lot of content creators take for granted, is that these people really care. They're not, commenting and requesting features and stuff because, they're jerks. It's because they really want to see this game grow and have, the best future it can. So I appreciate all the feedback and all the criticism that I get for the game.
And what you talk about content creators. If there's a content creator, if there's someone that wants to get into computer science, wants to get into coding, what would be your number one tip for them?
For getting into computer science, honestly, how I made the click originally, and people might be surprised by this, but originally I hated coding, and I kind of only did it because it had a good job market. But over time, I really started to enjoy that, and partially two reasons. One, because I had a really good professor in college that really was super positive and super optimistic and helped encourage me instead of discourage me. Sometimes people have a bad professor that tries to discourage them or talks down to them. If you can find a good professor that really helps you want to learn, that's good. And then the other thing is just connecting coding to things you like. When I made AutoSim, it was originally just like a coding exercise to learn basic primitive AI and if statements, really. I mean, I wasn't even intending this to be a video game, more or less just, understanding Python better. But because I was able to make that connection, that kind of turned into something greater. And I mean, let's say you like Pokemon, for example, you can make a basic, Pokemon game on Python, and that would allow you to understand coding better, at the same time kind of acting as a hobby because you're making something related to something you're passionate about. And it's just making those kind of connections is how I got into coding and how I became really good at it. Or not good, but adequate, I would say. I still have a long way to go. I've only been coding for 3 years, and not perfect, but I'd say better than average.
So what you're saying is, if you can do it, anyone can do it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I started with nothing. I mean, I would say I was actually pretty behind in my classes compared to my peers. I mean, I came into college with no coding experience whatsoever, and I definitely struggled my first few classes. But now now I'd say I've really gotten the hang of it. And because coding is such an enjoyable subject for me, I don't feel like it's busy work or chores when I have to do my work. It's, something I have a vested interest in. And because of that, I've been able to take C in my classes.
So this has kind of been like that supplemental thing.
Yeah, I mean, I do it for my classes, and then I also do it in my free time. I mean, I don't think people realize, when you're really passionate about coding, and I guess it's for every subject, but sometimes you don't really realize the time flies. I mean, I work on AutoSim for 5 to 6 hours a day sometimes. If I have a free day to just sit down and code, I'll work on it for 6 to 7 hours and really crank out some progress. And coding can be a little bit slow at times. I would say it takes maybe 1 to 2 days to add a feature, sometimes 3 to 4 if you're adding a very big feature or a feature that has lots of bugs that you need to quash. So that's definitely be prepared for the time investment. I mean, I think people will notice as of late the development has slowed down for AutoSim as I've gotten busier and busier. It's hard to just sink 6 or 7 hours out of my day into AutoSim, especially when I don't even really have 6 or 7 hours out of the day to like free at all to begin with. It is a time commitment and it does take a while, but you look at it over months and months instead of hours and days, and you can see the big picture progress really trending upwards.
And the downloads for the first couple versions are still on the site too, if I recall correct. I mean, just go.
Yeah, you can play any version of it.
Exactly. Go back and just look at the development. Go back before I forget which. I forget the numbers.
I mean, probably 3 or 4. I mean, that was back when it was still completely text based, and it was a little like 500 by 300 little box.
And just go back.
I mean, some of the older ones.
Look at those older ones. Play one that comes in the middle once the big, you got out of
like 6.0 and 7.0.
Exactly.
Yeah, the big updates.
And look at how much progress that Steve has made, guys. I mean, this thing is freaking fantastic compared to even where it started. I mean, considering it's just you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's been just you for the majority, and
it's been just me, and I've had a few people help here or there. A few, I had Ferris help me when back before the game. Well, the game was still Mac compatible. Now I'm using a version of Tkinter that does not work with Macs, so the game is no longer Mac compatible. But he helped me with the Mac side of things. So shout out to Ferris for that. But yeah, so the game I first started, I would say, officially developing on March 14th. And then April 28th, I believe, was the first public release of AutoSim. So April 28th was, 9 months ago. So this game's been in development for 10 months. I mean, that's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most big video games usually take a year or 2 years to make. So, and those video games have like 40, 50 people teams. I mean, this is just me and a few other people that occasionally pitch in. And I think a big part of that too is just, this community has really acted as almost sort of a development team, making mods, making image packs. I mean, I could do that stuff myself, but it would slow down the development of the game by a ton because, I'm kind of doing stuff already inside the code that other people don't have access to. So the fact that other people have stepped up and made mods, I can name a few off the top of my head, like Labonte Fan, Tiger Man have both made a ton of mods. 5395 Racing, a few others have made some mods, and it saves me a lot of time when they do that, because I don't really have the time to make mods and develop and make image packs.
Exactly. And again, that just goes back to this community you've built. It's just so freaking fantastic. Just dedicated.
Well, it's self-sustaining. I think that's the word I'd like to describe as self-sustaining.
Mm-hmm. For sure. 2 more questions for you. 2 more questions.
Yes.
Start with this one. What is the thing that you've been most proud of with this game?
Proudest moment I had with this game was seeing Kamikaze Games do a playthrough of it. And the reason why this is because one, probably for a couple years now, I've kind of been following him, not, specifically, but I always kind of noticed him on YouTube. And 2, and this was back in March or April when I was first trying to develop the game. He did these like 9-hour streams of NASCAR Thunder 2003 and 2004. And I think what he did is it was like, what if you finished last place every single race? Like you just parked the car, or you just ran into the field. And those were so chaotic. Just seeing the AI, kind of, figure itself out. And NASCAR Thunder AI is very primitive, and that kind of motivated me to try and develop an AI that wasn't Kevin Harvick and Jeff Gordon combining to win 33 of the 36 races. Um, so seeing him play my game felt like a full circle moment. He was one of the motivating factors behind the AI side of AutoSim, and to see him kind of come around and play my game and actually enjoy it, I believe he gave it a pretty positive rating. And he did 7 or 8 videos. It wasn't like he just did one video and he finished. He did 7 or 8 videos, and they got some pretty good views. It definitely was like a holy crap moment, Like that was a moment where I realized this game could be big and not just a little, side project.
Oh, and that's a really important thing too, because it's free advertising at that point, right? And it helps you get a lot of these people into the community that have, and you've talked about it this entire time, right? People come into this community, and they provide the feedback that you need, that you talk about. You don't have a big team of developers, so getting that feedback, you have to get that feedback somewhere, and you've gotten it through the community.
Oh, absolutely. And I'd say, YouTube is probably responsible for 40% of my fan base right now. I would say probably 120, 150, maybe even, of the people in the Discord have found this game through either Kamikaze Games or SRM or you or one of the other YouTubers that have covered this game, or people on Reddit who post this game. I mean, it was crazy. Like, I was scrolling on the NASCAR subreddit, and somebody posted like, what are some cool NASCAR games for PC that you like, and somebody commented AutoSim. It was just crazy to see that, like, somebody thought of my game and posted it.
Yeah.
And basically, word of mouth, and word of mouth in real life, I guess. Perfect example of that. So that was kind of, when you see things like that, it definitely motivates you and says, like, holy crap, this game is actually taking off, and it's not just a side game or a little small project. It's people really care about this game, and people enjoy this game, and people play this game.
Well said. Last question, because you just rewrote 80%, 75% of the game.
Yes.
But I'm sure everyone wants to know what's next for AutoSim. I know you got the owner mode coming for the update, but what's next after that?
Well, after owner mode, after Omega comes out, I'm going to be focusing on patching a lot of bugs and just cleaning up the UI a little bit more, making everything look very professional. I'm still trying to figure out screen resolution. I know that's something people have had issues with, and a very common complaint is, hey, like, how do I expand the resolution and stuff? Tkinter is very archaic in terms of screen resolution. It's very complicated to do certain things with Tkinter. Another one is GIFs or animation. Tkinter is notoriously bad when it comes to that. So that's just game engine limitations, but I'm going to still try my best to address these issues. And then after that, I think the next big milestone will be getting the game on Steam. And Steam has, I believe, a $150 creation fee, which, thank you to my patrons, I will actually be able to afford. And we can get the game on Steam, and people can play it, whenever. The game will cost money in the future on Steam, but the Omega and all the other versions, the betas, will be free. So if you can't afford the game, you can still play for free. But the final product will eventually be paid, and that's just because I need to support myself somehow. If I'm investing half of my day into this game, it needs to be worth it. I actually quit my one of my jobs. I was a teaching assistant, and I quit my job to focus on this game. And because of that, I've been able to invest a lot more of my time and able to get Omega out a lot faster than I thought it would take. It would probably take an extra month or 2 months to get this update out if I still, worked my job. But that's the sacrifices you have to make to be able to make something like AutoSim and be able to chase my dreams.
Well, and keep it up, because you're going to get there, because you've gotten this far already, and you've done just such a fantastic job. Thank you so much, Steve, for taking the time to sit down with me and do this. I appreciate it a lot. I hope everyone can at least get a little, little windowed view of what you've put into everything. But last thing before we let you go, just everything that, if they want to find out more about AutoSim, what's the best way to do so?
Yes. Join the Discord. That seems to be where all the momentum's at, where all the activity's at. Or just keep your eyes peeled on the website or the subreddit, But I would say the Discord is probably the best way to get in contact with me, and that's where most of the mods are. If you want to download mods, they seem to be all on Discord.
And of course, everything is still free right now, so this is a great time to at least try it before Steve gets everything and the whole AutoSim team. And I say whole team, it's you get everything ready and out there. It's a great test drive right now, and if you haven't already, you need to check it out.
Yes, and if you enjoy the game and want to support me, support AutoSim's future, feel free to stop by the Patreon. I mean, the lowest tier is $3, so it's not too expensive.
Exactly.
And if you want to rep it in person, we have shirts, we have stickers you can put on your computer or give as a gift.
Well, it's $3 for Dale. I mean, come on, guys, do it for Dale. Do it for Dale.
Exactly.
Steve, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day, out of your busy coding day, to sit down with me.
Yes. I appreciate it, Joe. Thanks for the opportunity.
Hey, I appreciate you so much. Steve, a.k.a. Armenian, a.k.a. Savag. You know him as all these different amazing things.
Yes. I go by many names.
A man of many hats. Thank you so much, buddy. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too. Take care.
Thank you so much, Steve, for taking the time to do this interview with us today. Again, you heard from him. AutoSim is just a great game. You saw the footage here on YouTube. We really appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure if you like the video, if you like AutoSim, hit the like button. I know we'll all really appreciate that here at JTN at the JoeTowNetwork. This week's episode of the Fake Racers podcast, Davey and I will be making a tier maker video. So this is kind of supplemental to that. It's a lot of fun here at JTN. We continue to do all this fun content for you guys. We really appreciate you guys taking the time to tune in and check it out. Programming notes. Again, Fake Racers podcast later on in the week, probably Thursday. We'll be doing our tier maker video with the 2021 Cup Series drivers. That will be a fun time. I'm sure Davey and I will have the same opinions about every single driver, and it'll be great. But make sure you check that out. Hit like on this video if you liked it. There's a bunch of different older AutoSim videos here on the JoeTowNetwork. Those are a lot of fun to watch as well. This Saturday night, we'll have the United States Online Racing League Red Bull Cup Series from Talladega. Then we'll have the TMP, or I believe the ASRA, at Gateway on Monday night. So that'll be a fun time there with Indy cars at Gateway. It'll be a fun show there. And then we'll just be back with our USORL boys for some Saturday nights under the lights here on JTN 10:40 p.m. Eastern Time. So a lot of fun stuff coming in here on JTN in the new year. Really appreciate you guys taking the time to tune in. Make sure you head over to our Facebook page. Give us a like over there. Give us a follow on Twitter. Those are all linked in the description below. Can't make it any easier for you guys. I could just come to your house and click the button, but I don't think you'd like that, especially in the time of Corona. But again, appreciate y'all taking the time out of your day to listen to us, to watch us. You can check out the Spotify edition of this on our Fake Racers podcast Spotify. There's a couple differences between that and this one, so we really appreciate you if you just go click on it so it comes up in our analytics that we got another person listening. But all the links for AutoSim are also in the description below, so that's a great way to go check them out, to their website as well as their store. You can also find information about the Patreon on their website as well. Steve has just done a fantastic job, and the more you guys continue to support him, it just really proves that you guys really love this game, and we know you do. We know you love it. But for all of us here at JTN, for Bristol, our producer, I've been Joe Twansky. Thank you so much for taking the time listening. Steve's got a great story, and can't wait to see what he continues to do with AutoSim and what we can continue to build as a community. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Happy New Year. And we'll see you guys in the next JTN video. Make sure you check them out, guys. We got a lot of great content. We can't wait to see you guys tuning into everything. Have a wonderful rest of your day or night. Peace.